Chapter 16. Wherein the prince neither bawls nor bellows. So think about the last time we heard those words. About somebody bawling or bellowing. Think about that for a minute. Jemmy felt a surge of the creeps. I'm going to go back for just a second. Remember that he heard the words, stand and deliver. And the pair of Hold Your Nose Billy and Cutwater had guns pointed at Captain Nips. So remember that Jemmy and the prince are right now inside that coach. Jemmy felt a surge of the creeps. Run for it, he wondered. Instead, he began to burrow out of sight under the loose heap of potatoes. Remember, he whispered to the prince, it's me they're after, not you. Tell him we split up. Tell him I swam the river. Prince Brat merely looked at him. The voices outside boomed. Stand and deliver, I said. And I heard you, exclaimed Captain Nips. Deliver what? Potatoes? Scurvy rascals, help yourselves. Hang your potatoes, roared Hold Your Nose Billy. Deliver us some information, you can be off. We're after 2 runaway apprentices. Apprentice highwaymen? Captain Nips scoffed. Our affair. Girl with the bears said she saw him streaking for the river. You carrying passengers? Jemmy pulled the iron kettle over his head. A coach door was yanked open, and Jemmy could hear Cutwater's muffled cackle. Got one! The whipping boy it is. Where's your master, eh? Jemmy held his breath. He had no reason to believe that the prince wouldn't betray him again. There came a stiff pause, and then the prince said, swam the river? By then, Hold Your Nose Billy had ripped open the opposite coach door. Even through the kettle, Jemmy imagined that he could smell garlic. Swimmed the river? Ah! He needs scales and fins! Hardly a moment later, the kettle was grabbed off Jemmy's head, and it stood exposed. Here's the potato we're after, Hold Your Nose Billy roared gleefully. Jemmy and the prince were yanked out of the coach, and the big outlaw shouted to Captain Nips, throw me down your horsewhip and drive on. Hanging on to each boy by the scruff of the neck, that's the back there, the highwaymen scrambled out of sight below the embankment. Hold Your Nose Billy looked angry enough to throttle Jemmy on the spot. Tricked me, did you? He bellowed. Flummoxed me with your fancy quill scratching. The game's up, Jemmy thought. He's tumbled that ransom note ain't worth a scat. But trying to look as innocent as possible, he replied, Sir? As if he didn't know anything. A gold sack or 2 would have satisfied me and Cutwater, snarled the hairy outlaw. Greedy ain't our middle name. But you, raising the ante to a great cartload, reckoned to slow us down, didn't you? It would be easier to drag around a dead horse. If we ain't light-footed, we're caught. That was your scheme. What a pair of fools, Jemmy thought. That hadn't been his scheme at all. You've got it all wrong, he declared. I swear it. So he's trying to act innocent, like he didn't do anything wrong. Aye, enough plunder to burden us directly to the gallows, eh? Hold Your Nose Billy continued. Well, here's a whipping you won't never forget. He snapped Captain Nips' whip in the air to get the feel of it. Here's the whipping, boy, Cutwater put in. You said it'll go powerful worse for us if we thrash the prince himself. Hold Your Nose Billy nodded sharply. Cutwater upturned the prince, holding him by his ankles in the air. So who are they about to whip?
The prince.
Prince Brat. Yeah? Go to it, Billy. Jemmy finally found his voice. Lay down the whip, he commanded with a princely air. Don't you have an ounce of sense between you? Hold your gab. Simpletons. You can just fill your pockets with plunder and be light-footed as ever, Jemmy declared. Nobody flummoxes Hold Your Nose Billy and gets away with it. The whip snapped across the prince's back. Jemmy held his breath. He knew what it felt like. He saw the prince had set his jaws, just as Jemmy had always done, and not a sound escaped his lips. Harder, Cutwater advised. You didn't raise a peep out of him. The big man let it fly again. He must have a hide like an elephant, said Cutwater. He don't feel a thing. He'll feel this, Hold Your Nose, Billy thundered, and the leather whistled through the air. The prince's jacket was being shredded, so that's how bad they're whipping him. Ball out, Jemmy shouted. He'd dream of seeing the prince whipped, but now that it was happening, he found no satisfaction in it. Holler and cry out, I won't tell anyone. But Prince Brat only girded himself for the next blow. From the top of the embankment came an outraged voice. Betsy and her dancing bears stood there. Ruffian! She cried out. What are you doing to that poor boy? No business of yours, snarled Cutwater. Stop it, Betsy said. But Hold Your Nose Billy raised the whip again. The next thing Jemmy knew, the girl had slipped the rope from around the neck of the bear. Sick 'em, Petunia, go get 'em! So there's the picture. He's holding the prince to be whipped, and then she let the bear go. Who's the bear chasing?
Hold Your Nose, Billy.
Hold Your Nose, Billy.
Because Hold Your Nose, Billy's whipping them.
Correct.
And he jumped in the roof.
And that's the end of the chapter.